This is Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.
I shudder thinking how the world can be so cruel. And my voice goes It's time we try, it's time we care, it's time to stand. It starts with a voice.
Welcome back to the Special Chronicles show. My name is Daniel, founder of Special Chronicles and a Southern Tribal International Global Messenger Special Olympics. This is episode 464. And if you are new, specialchronicles.com for links to follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can also subscribe to our follow and rate and review this podcast on Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button and review us. And you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube to watch the video version of this episode and to watch the live stream video episodes. And you can sign up for our newsletter. And again, all those links are on specialchronicles.com for links to subscribe and follow. This week on the Special Chronicles show is a returning guest. Is our friend Bree, who's a singer, public speaker, and fellow Special Olympics Illinois athlete leader. Welcome. So please put your virtual hands together. As if we had a live audience here, they would actually applaud for our guest, but you guys are all listening in different places, and so you can put your, as my mom does sometimes when she's listening, she'll actually physically applaud. So please put your virtual hands together as we welcome Bree back to Special Chronicles show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so long-time listeners, well, I think I don't know how many episodes you've been on, but you've been on a few, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think I was trying to look back in the archives, which our listeners can go to specialchronicles.com and find the archives, but there was a Christmas party at a church, I think, that we did, and the 100th episode.
The Duck Derby.
Yeah, Duck Derby, yeah. So, so people can just go on and search for you on specialchronicles.com and find those previous episodes. The 100th episode seems like a long time ago. I know this November will be coming up on, this is 464, so coming up on the 500th episode.
Wow, that's a lot of episodes.
So, yeah. So, and 14 years later, still around and still, yeah. So I know it's hard to believe there are still listeners out there that are still listening to us and and enjoying these conversations. So for any new listeners, because we might have some new people listening, right? We introduce yourself, tell us what disability you're diagnosed with and your role at Special Olympics and anything else that you would say in an introduction.
Yeah. My name's Bree. I was diagnosed with PDD-NOS, which is pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, which is on the autism spectrum. And I was also diagnosed with anxiety, OCD, depression, all that stuff. And I am a global messenger for Special Olympics Illinois.
Awesome. Yeah. We're both GMs.
And athlete.
And athlete. Yeah. Can't forget that part of the, yeah. Those leadership, those sports, those everything. So I think one of the last times that you were on this show, there was another song that you performed, right? That's out there. So
Are you talking about the songs that I did or the Duck Derby one?
The song that you did.
Yeah. So when I was about 15, 16, I had a song that was written by Jim Peterick from the Ides of March and Survivor and Lisa McClowry. And so I recorded that when I was about 15, 16, and that was called I Was Born Yesterday. And then in 2015, I was a part of the Unified Project with Coca-Cola and Special Olympics. And that was with the band OAR, Cody Simpson, and Madison Tevlin, and that was Reach Up.
Awesome. And so now, and so that was, you said back in 2015 to 2000. So now, what, 5-6 years? 7, not good at math. 5-6 years later.
I'm not good at math, so don't ask me.
Okay, so yeah, however many years later, from 2015 to now, beginning of 2022, you have a new song. So
yes.
Just tell us briefly. We'll go ahead and take a short sponsor break right now, but and talk more about this new song. But tell us just briefly, a kind of brief introduction of how this new song came to be.
After the sponsor break or now?
Let's take the sponsor break and tease the listeners so they'll keep listening. Because we want to keep them listening. So, you guys, you listen to the Special Chronicles show. Our guest is friend of the pod. That's what they say, right? That's what the kids say. Friend of the podcast, Bree. And when we come back, we'll get to your new song. Do you want to at least tell them what the song's titled, and then we'll get into more?
It's called Only Me.
And so we'll get into more about that and let you guys know how you can listen to the song after the break right here on Special Chronicles. We're going to take a quick break from our conversation today to learn how you can become a Special Chronicles supporter so we can continue to produce this podcast. Support for Special Chronicles comes from listeners like you. As an independent public media podcast, Special Chronicles will always be there for you. Now we're asking you to be there for us. As a nonprofit independent media organization, we can only make programs like Special Chronicles with listener support. Our programs provide weekly, candid, honest, and inspiring conversations about the people with disabilities community that creates awareness, support, and advocacy within each week's episode. Listeners tell us our shows are an enjoyable and necessary podcast for the intellectual and developmental disability community and everyone else who is able to listen to stories about life from a different angle. Please, if you and your family love our weekly podcast, make a one-time, monthly, or annual gift of thanks today. Support this podcast at specialchronicles.com/give. That's specialchronicles.com/give. And now, back to the show to continue the conversation today. And back to the show. We're back. Our guest is Bree, and you, in the first segment, you kind of gave a little bit of a backstory of kind of the first couple of songs that you performed. But now, beginning of 2022, and you have a new song, and we'll let at the end of the episode, we'll let our listeners know how they can listen, and we'll make sure to put links in the show notes on specialchronicles.com for episode 464. But I know at the Athlete Leadership Academy that we were both at back in November, I think it was a few months ago, you guys gave us a sneak peek to that song, but now it's available for everybody to listen. So tell us, kind of take us back to even before the song came out now, to why you wanted to write the song and kind of where this song came to be.
Yeah. So I had the songs that I had before, when I was like 15, 16, and then again when I was like around 17, 18. And so I love music. I've always wanted to write, whether that's by myself or with others. I love to collaborate with people, and I just wanted to continue that. And so I was actually talking with my best friend, the same one who got me into running.
Mhm.
And so I was like, yeah, I really want to do this. I really want to make music. I just don't know, who to collaborate with. It's really hard to find people sometimes. And she was like, oh, my neighbor, he jams in his basement. And so I was like, okay. So I reached out to him, and it turns out he's actually like a producer. So I was like, okay, so jamming in your basement is a little bit different than being a producer.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. So I just went with it. And so I texted him and I just said, hey, I am a singer. And so I want to do music and I'm looking for people to collaborate with. And I was wondering if you were interested. And so he wrote back and he was like, oh yeah, totally. And, he told me his price range. And I was like, whoa, I cannot afford that. And so he was nice enough to be like, okay, I'll work with you. And so he worked with me on the money part because he wanted to try collaborating. And I thought like that was really sweet. I really appreciated it. So that's kind of how that started. And so we got together. And so my goal for this song that just came out was I wanted it to be a song that everyone could relate to. Mm-hmm. No matter who you are, disability or no disability, no matter the race, gender, whatever, just everyone could relate to it. And so I had these thoughts of, there's so many people in this world, but there's only one me. There might be 15 million Briannas, but there's one Bree, there's one Brianna, So I kind of wanted to do something with that. So we came up with, him and I wrote it. His name is Steve. So Steve and I wrote it, and we got a little bit of help from another girl named Sarah. And so she helped us out a little bit, but it was mostly written by Steve and I in his basement, in a studio. And so we came up with the song Only Me. And so I think it's amazing. And it basically talks about, out of 7 billion people, I'm the only me. It kind of goes through, it starts out with like struggles, like, I'm trying to get over somebody that was in my past. And, the time's ticking. I'm anxious, turn off the bright lights, silence the noise. But I want you to hear me and I want you to see me. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of, it kind of eventually turns into this powerful chorus of I'm going to be climbing mountains. I'm meant to be free. Yeah. I want to show the world who I'm supposed to be. And so it's supposed to be like an anthem for everybody, no matter what journey or situation that you're in or going through, to be like, okay, I have these challenges, but I can climb mountains. I can get through this. I'm the only me out of 7 billion people. There's no one else like me. I'm unique. I'm special. And so that's kind of, where we came up with it. And I'm hoping to come out with an EP, which stands for extended play. So we're going to come up with, we're going to try to come up with like 3 to 5 songs. But we just started out with this one. And so this one's Only Me that just came out.
And so then the other songs, just like this first one, they'll all be original songs? Or
yeah.
Any covers of any other songs, or just
no, the EP will be all original songs written by us. I'm not used to writing songs, so to be able to help write Only Me and to be able to, write some songs for the EP that we want to try to do, it's kind of fun for me because it puts me in a different like element, like it gets me in a different spot. Before I did, I Was Born Yesterday was written by Jim Peterick and Lisa McClowery. Reach Up was written by OAR. And so I would sing it, but to actually, sing what I helped write, I feel like was really inspiring and really, really cool.
Awesome. So the song, you talked a little bit about the title, but I mean, share with us a little bit more about how you came up with the title because I think it speaks a lot to your story, but then maybe it could also inspire somebody else, either another athlete or somebody else's story.
Yeah. Well, for me the title was easy because it's just literally the last two words of the chorus, I'm the only me. So and Steve was like, "Oh, what do you want to name the song?" I'm like, "Only Me. We'll just name it Only Me."
Awesome. So you shared a little bit about kind of where the song came to be, but now walk us through the process of how you wrote the song. Did you guys get together on Zoom or in his basement, or kind of how? Because as you just said, you've performed other songs, but this is the first one that you wrote. So what was that process like to actually write the song?
Yeah. So how we kind of did that was I was in the car with my mom, and so I told her about this idea. And so I thought it'd be cool to do like out of 7 billion people, I'm the only me. And then she really liked, climbing the mountains and, I'm meant to be free. So actually, my mom kind of helped inspire what the song was going to be about. And so that kind of got me started. And so I started writing a little bit on my phone through the notes.
Yeah.
And I met up with Steve in his basement and like his studio basement. And so we talked and he was like, "Oh, is that okay if I just change some things?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." So he's like, "I think it'd be really cool to talk about your struggles." And then the chorus is like, "Bam, you're climbing mountains. You're meant to be free." And I was like, "Yeah, I like that. I dig that." And, and that's kind of like where he started to do the collaboration with me. And so he helped write that. And then I kind of had a little bit to do with it. And then we had a girl named Sarah, who is also a singer herself. And, she met with us one time and kind of helped inspire the song as well. And that's kind of how the song was written. And so I know when I was with Steve, he was like, "So what do you want the song to sound like, major or minor, scale?" And so we kind of agreed that, this is more of an upbeat, positive song. So we wanted it to be major. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And so we went with, I want to say it was like E major. I'm not super big. I'm not like super into like the music theory, but even though I think it's super cool, I haven't really studied it, so I could be wrong. But he had his guitar, and we looked up online like popular arpeggios. Arpeggios is like the do 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 do, kind of like going back and forth. And so I don't know how exactly to describe an arpeggio, but yeah. So we looked up like really popular easy arpeggios online, and so he would just kind of strum some notes on his guitar. And so I would tell him like, "I really like this. I like that sound." And so I told him, I was like, "I kind of like, A major, and so we tried that out. And then he would kind of go behind the scenes. Like he'd be like, "Okay, let me just kind of work on this and I'll get back to you." And I'm like, "Okay." And the next time we'd meet up, he'd be like, kind of showing me what he's got so far. And so I'm like, "Yeah, I really like that." And, eventually, Only Me was born.
Awesome. Now, before we get to some future plans and advice and final thoughts in the final segments, but as kind of just
Sorry, my mom walked into the room.
So it's always fun to be in a studio. I know like this podcast studio is in a separate room. It's next to my bedroom, but so it's always fun to kind of be in a studio, whether you're singing a song or podcasting like we're doing right now. So share any kind of, well, first tell us a little bit about the experience of recording the song in the studio, and if there's any kind of fun behind the scenes stories that you'd like to share of when you were actually physically recording the song. only me.
Yeah. So, so obviously it was in his basement. So it was at his house, and so in his basement he has like a layout of a studio that he made himself, and so he had to kind of have the sound bounce off the walls. He like created like I don't know how to explain it. It's like a pad, like a sheet over like maybe some like wood or something, and he would hang it up on the wall so that way when you recorded, it would sound more professional. The sound would bounce off, and it wouldn't sound, it wouldn't be like an echo. It would be more professional sounding and more clear. So it was really cool to kind of walk into a studio, to like see that on the walls and the ceilings, and all his guitars, his setup of like his keyboard, like his little like MIDI box. It's MIDI, and it's like a music producing thing. And so it was really cool to see that. And like he would like pull up his Pro Tools, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And I'm not, I'm not a music producer, at least right now. I mean, that'd be cool to get into, but so I have no idea how to do it. And so I'm like, can you show me as you do it? So as he was like producing the song, there were parts where I wasn't there that he would produce, but there would be times where I'd be in the studio with him and he would be like producing, and he'd be like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it was really neat. And to actually record the song, I was actually going through a bad breakup at the time. And so, which I'm better now, which is good. Yeah. But so, I've heard a lot of people say like, oh, I heard your song. I hear how like emotional and, like it sounds. And so I'm like, good, because it's real. I'm not faking. I was feeling the song. I was, going through some stuff in my life at the time. And so I just remembered he told me, he's like, I'm like, oh, should I not have dairy? I heard you shouldn't have dairy. And he was like, oh yeah, just try to avoid it. But if you can't, like, don't worry about it. And so I remember going into the studio and I'm like, oh, I think it was like cereal. I'm like, I had cereal, which has milk in it. And he was like, oh, it's okay. So, that was really funny. And I just went ahead and recorded the song. And so the cool thing about a studio is you can tape it like as much as you can. Like if you mess up, you can just redo it. Yeah. So it was really cool to like have the headphones on. You're able to kind of like hear yourself in the music. Yeah. And then I'm just like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Hope it sounds good. And I just start recording, and I love recording. I love singing. I love music. So I don't know. It was really fun for me to record. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to go ahead and take another short break. When we come back, get into some advice and future plans, because I'm sure there might be some other people with disabilities or some other special Olympics athletes that might be listening that might want to write their own music. So I'm sure you probably have some advice to share with our listeners, and we'll get to how you guys can listen to the song. If you just listen to us on audio, you missed the video where I was putting it up on the screen, how you can go find it on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube. But we'll let you know more, and at the end we'll give you a taste, and that's to let the listeners hear the song at the end of the episode, in addition to you all go and getting it on Apple Music or Spotify or all those places. So you listen to the Special Chronicles show. Our guest is Bree, and we'll be back after the break on Special Chronicles. And hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break from our conversation today to hear a message from our partner. Support for Special Chronicles comes from ComEd. Special Chronicles is proud to partner with the ComEd Energy Force Ambassador Program. The Energy Force is the country's first energy efficiency education program designed for and taught by people with disabilities. ComEd is powering lives, and really is powering us here at Special Chronicles to keep the lights on and our technology is powered on. As ComEd powers the lives of us, they're literally giving a voice to people with special needs. We thank ComEd for the generous support of our mission at Special Chronicles. Learn more at specialchronicles.com/ComEd. That's specialchronicles.com/ComEd. And now we return to our conversation This episode continues right. And we're back. Our guest is Bree, and in the last segment, you talked about some fun behind the scenes in the studio and kind of how the song came to be. And so now, I'm sure that there might be others with disabilities or other Special Olympics athletes that are listening that might want to get into music, whether it's doing covers or now what you're doing with original music. And so, do you have any advice for others that might want to get into writing and performing their own original music?
Yeah, I've definitely had a few people reach out to me saying that they want to write music, and I think that's great. The cool thing about writing music and getting into music is that it's never too late and anyone can do it. So I think that's super great. And I guess my advice would be to kind of be patient with yourself, because I know like it might be intimidating to like go, you have like a notepad and you're like, okay, let's write a song. Where do you start? You know what I mean? So just to be patient with yourself. What I found to be easy is you know, you can write about anything. It can be real, fake, whatever. But what I found to be really cool and inspiring is I use like personal experiences sometimes, or most of the time. And so you know, for example, Only Me is about, you know, struggles and overcoming them. And so, and writing other songs too, you know, for like, you know, a possible song for like the, you know, a possible EP. I would use, you know, what I really, you know, feel, what I want, you know, to write about, what has happened in my life. So I would say maybe like, if you don't know what to write about, maybe what you've been feeling lately, or, you know, something that's going on in your life, or maybe something that you want to share with other people. I think that could be a good start. And to try not to judge yourself, you know, because like I'll be writing something and I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound good. Well, you know, it could maybe to somebody else, or maybe you'll reread it and you're like, oh, that does sound good. You know, to just be patient with yourself, to trust the process, and you know, kind of, you know, just go with the flow, you know. And you know, if you don't know where to start, you know, maybe start with a personal experience, or maybe if you want it to be a song that's not, you know, real. I mean, it could be about anything that you want to be. It's supposed to be fun and creative, you know. Just try to be as creative as possible if you want. And it could be about anything, you know. Whoever's writing can have it be whatever they want it to be, and that's what's so cool about it. And to not judge yourself, you know, or try not to. I mean, that's easier said than done. Because it is, you know, your own, you know, work, you know, and that's what's so cool about it.
Yeah, powerful advice. And kind of now switching gears to a little bit about future plans. You just came out a couple weeks. Well, by the time people will hear this next week, but a few weeks ago, came out with this song "Only Me," and you mentioned, I think in the last segment, about a EP that you're working on. Are you and that I think you said 5 to 6 songs,
like about 3 to 5 songs.
3 to 5 songs. So have you already started working on that, or kind of do you have a timeline of when you want to get that EP released? Is it in the summer of 2022, fall, winter, not till 2023?
Yeah, nothing is set in stone right now. Our biggest, me and Steve's plan was to release Only Me and to promote it as much as we can, to try to have as many people as we can listen to it. And so that was our focus, our goal. But now that it's out, we're probably going to start focusing on the EP. I already have started writing songs. I already have 2 in the works. So I have a few, you know, so that's 2, so that's 3. So I have like 2 more to write possibly. But yeah, I've definitely started writing others, and yeah, we'll probably start working on it soon. I would say maybe around summer, but I'm not totally sure, because just to get this one song done took a lot of time, because we started writing it like last summer. So it does take time. So I'm not totally sure on a date yet.
Yeah, awesome. Well, if people want to know when the EP comes out, whether it's late 2022 or if it's not till 2023. What's the best place to keep up to date with any of the new EP or any of the new music?
Yeah. So I would say you could follow me on Instagram at Bree.Kelly23, or you could do my personal, which is Bree Bogucki, BreeBogucki. And then my Facebook page, Bree Kelly. We went by Bree Kelly because my last name's too hard to pronounce. And when I was like around 15, we went by my middle name, Brianna Alyssa.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wanted something new. And so me and Steve looked up like popular Irish names because I couldn't do my Polish one because it was really hard to pronounce. And so Kelly happened to be one of the popular names. So we went with Bree Kelly. We thought it rolled off the tongue easier. So yeah, just Facebook Bree Kelly. You can find me on Instagram. I'm also on Twitter at Brean97, BREAN 97. I should be all over. I'm on TikTok as well.
Yeah.
I don't really use it much, but I want to maybe try to, check it out. So yeah.
All right, awesome. So we'll make sure to put those links in the show notes for so if you go wherever you listen, click in the description below, specialchronicles.com, and look for episode 464. We're going to take one more break, and then we'll get to some final thoughts and a question that I always conclude these podcasts with. And if you are watching the video of this on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter Live, then you probably wondering, well, how are we doing all of this? And it's with a service called StreamYard. And so might have to do a quick costume change, but you guys will see what I mean in this next sponsor break. So our guest is Bree, and we'll get into some final thoughts, and as well as you guys get a taste of her song "Only Me" at the end of the episode when we come back from this break right here on SpecialChronicles.com. Hey, friends, podcast listener friends. I'd like to take a brief moment to let you know about how awesome StreamYard is. StreamYard is the easiest way to create professional live streams. StreamYard is a live streaming studio in your browser. Interview guests, share your screen, and much more. Stream directly to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and other platforms. Sign up for StreamYard and get $10 in credit with our referral link at specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. That's specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. You see the link right below on the screen here, and also will be in the show notes in the description below. But all of us at Special Chronicles, we love StreamYard. I've got a coffee mug I'm drinking coffee out of. Got a t-shirt on. I've got a sweatshirt. This StreamYard Puddles plush duck, Puddles the duck, here in the studio, and just really love it. Makes really love StreamYard. It makes it easy to connect with guests. Just send guests the link to join StreamYard, and easily have a professional logo and banners and graphics, and it just makes it easy to pre-record, to live stream on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Really love StreamYard. It's helped to make the audio podcasts and the video versions of the audio podcasts that I've been doing for the past 13 years. It's helped to make the video versions up to the next level, to a more professional level, while also making it easy to live stream. So all of us at Special Chronicles love StreamYard. Once again, if you want to sign up with StreamYard, specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. That's specialchronicles.com/StreamYard to sign up and get $10 in credit with our referral link. I hope you all will sign up for StreamYard, and happy live streaming. And until then, sign up for StreamYard and get $10 in credit with our referral link at specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. That's specialchronicles.com/StreamYard. And now back to the show. Oh, we're back. There. fast that costume change went. Probably didn't even notice that I changed. So with that, our guest is Bree, and we get before we get to remind the listeners about plugs of how they can go and check out the song and get to that final question as we wrap up. But do you have any final thoughts on your time here today? I know you've been on the show a few times in the past, but
yeah, I appreciate being on here. I appreciate you asking me to join your show and sharing my song. And yeah, I'm really excited for everyone to hear it. It's called Only Me by Bree Kelly.
And speaking of listening, where can people go and listen to the song? We'll put links in the show notes on specialchronicles.com, but where can people go listen?
You can listen on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. I want to say iHeartRadio. It's also on TikTok, pretty much everywhere.
All right. So, and they can just search for Bree Kelly, Only Me?
Yes. I don't think it's on Pandora, but I'm not sure. But I know the ones that I just listed, I know they're on.
Okay, awesome. So you guys...
Oh, and YouTube.
And YouTube. Okay. So you guys definitely go and check out the song. We'll put links to a few of those places. And if there's any other places, you can just go and search. But we remind the listeners again how they can follow to stay up to date with that new EP that's coming soon and anything else that you're doing.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do the EP, so we'll see. I'm just really happy to have the song released. I'm excited for everyone to hear it. So yeah, thank you for having me on here.
Yeah, so we'll put links again, specialchronicles.com for episode 464 to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. All those links will be in the show notes. And that final question, I think you probably know what it is already, but as you know, on Special Olympics and even here at Special Chronicles, the inclusion revolution and inclusion is a big part of what we all do and what we want to make sure to always include everybody. And so that final question.
We're not just athletes.
We are the ambassadors of an uprising.
Peaceful protesters.
In a rebellion against anyone
who has a fear of difference.
Difference.
Our demands are
Equality.
Dignity.
And the recognition of our shared humanity.
We will not stop
or accept anything less.
Today, our world is
more divided than ever.
And coming together has never been more urgent.
The revolution
is inclusion.
Find out more at jointherevolution.org.
So as you could tell from that bumpo, final question, conclude all these podcasts with, at least for ever since coming back from the Abu Dhabi World Games, is one asking, what does inclusion mean to you? So I'll ask you as well. What does inclusion mean to you?
That's a good question. Inclusion means to me is including a person or a group of people, no matter their race, gender, sexual orientation, disability, or no disability, etc., and including them in whatever's being held or whatever's taking place, whether that's, the lunch table or, coming into a restaurant or just wherever, just being included. It could be like sports, it could be school, including them so there's equality and equity for all.
Awesome. So perfect way to wrap up this episode. And for those of you listening, we want to remind you, visit specialchronicles.com for links to follow Special Chronicles on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can also remember to do what you do with this podcast and subscribe or follow on, and remember to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Just search for Special Chronicles. Or you can find links on specialchronicles.com. And make sure to also subscribe to our channel on YouTube, Special Chronicles, to watch the live stream video episodes and sign up for our newsletter, where we'll send out, we'll give you updates or even behind the scenes. I think if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get exclusive access to a video with Dave Breen, President and CEO of Special Olympics Illinois, that we filmed in Dublin, Ireland. And so if you want to sign up, if you want to hear us talk about unified leadership, sign up for the Special Chronicles newsletter, and you'll get exclusive access to that video. It's been joy having you on, Bree, and I'm sure this won't be the last time that you'll be on. I'm sure.
It's been a pleasure being on here.
Yeah. So we'll wrap up this episode with having our listeners hear your song "Only Me," and you all, if you enjoy the song, hearing it as we close out this episode, go to the show notes and click on the links to go and listen on wherever you stream music. And so thanks. And this is to wrap up the episode, I'll let you introduce the song as we close out the episode.
Yeah, so this is Only Me by Bree Kelly.
There are days I want to be like everyone else. Most of the time it's hard to be by myself. I'm waiting for the time that I don't need you here. The minutes are passing slowly. I'm still living in fear. I am still trying to figure myself out, and I'm sick of fighting my mind all the time. I'm gonna be climbing mountains. I was meant to be free. I need to show the whole damn world who I'm supposed to be. I'm running on a journey that is yet to be seen. Out of 7 billion people, I'm the only me. Turn off the bright lights, silence the noise. I'll make sure you see me, now you're gonna hear my voice. These thoughts that consume me, they're gonna burn me down. I feel the water rising, but I refuse to drown. I am still trying to figure myself out, and I'm sick of fighting my mind all the time. I'm gonna be climbing mountains. I was meant to be free. I need to show the whole damn world who I'm supposed to be. I'm running on a journey that is yet to be seen. Out of 7 billion people, I'm the only me. My life is changing so fast, I can't take it. It feels like a train wreck. I won't let it crash. I am still trying to figure myself out, and I'm sick of fighting my mind all the time. I'm gonna be climbing mountains. I was meant to be free. I need to show the whole damn world who I'm supposed to be. I'm running on a journey that is yet to be seen. Out of 7 billion people, I'm the only me.
I think
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Special Chronicles Shows podcast. Visit specialchronicles.com to follow Special Chronicles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, and don't forget to hit the bell to be notified of new episodes. Also, subscribe to our newsletter mailing list to sign up for our updates and get exclusive content delivered to your inbox. Remember to do what you do with these podcasts: subscribe or follow and rate and review Special Chronicles on Apple Podcasts, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Finally, please share this episode and all of our podcasts with your friends and family. Help us grow our audience and reach 5,000 downloads of our audio podcasts and over 14,000 average monthly listeners. Have a great week, and we'll see you back here next week with exciting new guests. See you next week.
Special Chronicles, giving respect and a voice to people with special needs.